welcome to my channel. I'm Emily, the Petite Beauty blogger, and happy Halloween! It is finally October 31st, so that means it's going to be Halloween all day and it's going to be amazing. And in today's video I'll be doing a trick-or-treat Halloween look. So what I'm going to do first is I am just going to explain the look, because for this look I will be covering my mouth, and of course once I've covered it I cannot talk, so I will go into voiceover for that bit. So basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to take paper like this to cover my mouth, and I've got liquid latex. Now when you are using liquid latex, always use a brush that is usually cheap and that you want to chuck away, because once you've used liquid latex on a brush, that brush is pretty useless. So make sure you have a brush that can just easily be chucked, and I'm going to slowly build up my mouth just to completely cover it. So to start off with, what I'm going to do is take my liquid latex, which reeks. I really don't like the smell, but gotta do what you gotta do, and I'm literally just going to glue it to my face. When doing each layer of liquid latex, what you want to do is of course just apply it around the edges, but I let it dry first before I then apply my second layer. This helps it set better, and it makes sure that you don't put on too much product, so it's easier to dry, and it's quicker to dry also. For those wondering about liquid latex, I do have very sensitive skin, and I use liquid latex and I have no issues with it. Obviously everyone's skin's going to be different, but my skin does flare up quite easily and this is fine. What I like to do is I like to take a sheet of paper, and usually it has 2 layers, which is handy, so you separate them so it's a thinner bit of paper, so it's easier to blend and it's easier to look more realistic. When applying your latex, make sure you do cover every single side and corner just to make sure it sticks down perfectly. Now I'm going to quickly go off camera and apply another layer. Now I've applied all my paper and latex, I'm going to go in with my Makeup Revolution foundation, Conceal and Hydrate, and I'm literally just going to cover the white tissue and the rest of my face. And I am going to apply the foundation with a sponge, and this is a dry sponge because obviously if we were to use wet it would completely ruin the paper, and I like to use the sponge because I feel for me it's a bit more gentle around the paper and it doesn't tear. I like to use a sponge over latex when I'm doing makeup, but that's just me. It's always good to test and work out what's best for you. So I'm just going to be doing my normal makeup routine on the rest of my face. So this is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define in C3, and this is a supersized one which I adore, and I'm just going to be applying it in the normal places, so under my eyes, my forehead and my nose, and usually I do my chin, but today we're not doing that because obviously the blood and all the gore is going to be there. Now I'm just going to blend it out and then I'm going to set it down. To set it, I'll be going in with my new favourite powder, and as you can see it's a bit worn out, but it's the Banana Light powder from Makeup Revolution, and that whole tub cost me about £5, and I know that seems a bit cheap to some people, but really it really does work. It helps set down the makeup flawlessly and it doesn't leave any texture, and I really love it. When applying the powder, I also do make sure I go over the edges of my latex and my paper just to make sure it's even more set. And for brows, I'll be going in with the Beauty Bay EYN Nude palette, and I actually really love using shadow for my brows. I think it works perfectly. So the first thing I am doing is grooming my brows, because of course that helps give us a nice, clean, flawless brow. Now I love using a shadow for a brow product because if your brows are patchy like mine, it really does help fill them out and make them look more full, and you can still make them look natural. Of course, for this look I will be writing trick or treat across my mouth because this is obviously Halloween, and I spent literally all day yesterday cutting up little letters for the trick or treat. And this is just very simple again. I'll just be gluing it down with liquid latex. Now, for those of you who may want to try this look at home, just beware, this is very time consuming, but it is worth it. So to glue down the letters, I will put down latex first for the letters to stick on, and then I will apply latex over the top to help set it. Now that I have glued all of my letters down, I'm going to move on to my eyes before I do the gore. Now, moving on to the eye look, I'll be doing 2 different looks for each eye, as it will be trick or treat. And on the first eye, I will be doing a lollipop, and on the second eye, I will be doing a spider's web kind of look, because obviously the lollipop's going to be the treat and the spider's web's going to be the trick. And to help ace those looks, I'm first going to prime my eye using the P. Louise primer base in 0. First look I'm going to do is the lollipop, and that's going to cover my entire eye. And to make sure I get it perfect, I'm just going to use a simple white liner pencil one just to outline the shape I want, and that's when I can really just fine tune what I want to do before I go into a liquid liner, because of course once I've gone wrong, and that's a lot harder to fix, so of course I want to make it perfect before I get started. Now I've got the shape I want, I'm going in with the Maybelline liner, and I like this one because of the point, and I'm just going to draw on the lollipop shape. Now this bit is also very time consuming because you do have to be quite precise, but don't worry if you do go wrong, just go in with a concealer or your foundation just to cover up any mistakes. What I'm going to draw now is in a lollipop, it swells of course. So I will be just drawing in swirls with my black liner, and I will be just bringing them in to the center of my eye. And as you can see, it's not a straight line down, it's a curve, because when you look at actual lollipops, all the lines curve from where it spins and twists. So the next bit, thank God, it's actually really simple. I'm going in with the Morphe Artistry palette, and I'm just going to fill in every little space in a rainbow colour. So I'm going to start with red, going into orange and yellow and green and so forth, and I'm just filling in the spaces. Now for this bit, you could do any colour you want, you know, it's up to you, it's your own imagination, you can do whatever you like, but you know me, I love my rainbows, so of course this had to be a rainbow. Moving on, I'm just going to use my NYX Epic Wear liner in white just to go round some of the black lines on each side, and this is just to give the lollipop more character and make it look more realistic. So now obviously I'm going to give the lollipop its stick, and I'm just going to use that same black liner, draw some lines to it, and then I'm going to fill it in with a brown shadow. The brown shadow I will be using is from the Beauty Bay Nudes palette, And as you can probably already tell, I'm obsessed with Beauty Bay eyeshadows. I think they are some of the best in the game, and they're really slept on. I own loads. I have obviously the colourful one, I have the nudes, I have the berry, and I just really love them, and I really suggest getting them because price wise they are perfect. They're not too expensive and you actually get good product. And moving now on to my trick eye, I will be going all over my lid with this red shadow from the Morphe Artistry palette, and I'm really just going to stamp that colour on and then think about blending it out later. And what I'm going to do is continue that red shadow underneath on my lower lash line and also round into the inner corner, and I'm just going to connect them and then blend it all the way out and make it really smoky and blown out. Now moving on to the spider's web, and I know it's probably getting annoying now, but I'm going back in with that Maybelline liner, and what I'm going to do first is draw just some straight lines because they're going to be our guidelines for when we add in those extra curvy lines through the middle of each line. And this is just very simple. Just draw the lines angled to your eye shape going up towards your brow. So to make the spider's web look more like a spider's web, I'm going to draw some semicircle kind of shapes that connect all the lines together. And what I'll do is I'll connect the top lines together, and then I'll continue doing those curved edges going down. So at the moment I'm really trying hard not to make this look like Spider-Man, but if it happens, it happens. So as you can see now, I have started to continue it lower just slightly, and you can start to see more of a spider's web shape. So what I'm going to do now is basically copy exactly what I did on my top lid and just apply it underneath. So as you can see, what I'm doing now is creating those lines again, and I'll connect them all together again. Now, funnily enough, I do actually find doing the spider's web lines actually pretty simple. I didn't really have any issues with it, and you know, that's just me. So if you are feeling a bit afraid to do this look, then really just give it a try, because you may find it's easier than you think. For the final part of this eye, I'm trying not to make it look like Spider-Man too much, so I will just be drawing a little spider. So at the moment I'm just drawing the, you know, the little web, and I'm very lightly just straggly drawing the line quite messily because that's how I feel it looks like, and I'm just going to draw a cute little cartoony little spider. Now just very quickly before I do my spider, I'm going to quickly do my contour because I don't want to have to try and contour over liner. It's just not going to work. So I'll just very quickly apply that, and then we'll move on to the spider. So for the spider, this is very, very simple. It's just going to be a giant black dot, and then I will be drawing on 8 legs. Obviously, I like the fact that it's a bit cartoony, and plus it's really simple for those out there that want to just make this look simple. There you go. Doesn't take too long and you're basically done. So now moving back onto the trick or treat, I'm taking my Revolution Pro colour palette, face colour palette, and just using a tiny brush I will be colouring in the trick or treat using a mixture of different reds, some blues, some dark purples, and this is going to make it look a bit more realistic and scabby. And then of course at the end we're going to do my favourite bit, we're going to have some fun with some blood. And now I've painted on all the different colours for my trick or treat. I'm going in with my Kryolan fake blood, which is external, and I'll be using that small brush again just to apply over what we already have done, and that is just going to make it look wet and gooey and really gory and disgusting, which is exactly what we want. So here is the completed look. What do you think? This is very Halloweeny. Of course, it's October 31st, so it's Halloween. And this is very trick or treat. So of course on one eye I've got trick and the other eye I've got treat. Now I know this year we're having to do Halloween inside, but it doesn't mean you can't have fun with makeup. And I hope you're going to have a fun time. And of course, if you would like to recreate any of this, please tag me on Instagram at Petite Beauty Blogger, because I'd love to see the results. And you can also show me on my Facebook page, facebook.com/MUA by Emily. And I will link my website in the description box down below, and you can check that out for my business, Makeup by Emily, because I do professional makeup artistry. And as always, I hope you're staying safe and well, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!